Everyone. Great stories, classic revivals, tales never told before, huge stars, unique stagings. We are in the grips of Marquee Madness. The rush is on as the Broadway season comes to a climactic ending in these last weeks of show openings. I'm Roma Torre once again, and these are the times that try theater insiders' souls. Each year, we are traditionally bombarded in March and April by a slow of shows clamoring to make their marks and be fresh in the voters' minds ahead of the Tony eligibility cutoff. 34 shows are competing for Tonys this season, but about half of them are opening in just these last weeks. From March 12th to April 26th, we are committed to seeing 16 Broadway productions, and that's not even counting the new off-Broadway offerings. So joining us now to help sort it all out are a pair of veteran theater professionals who have literally seen it all. Broadway World's Richard Ridge and SiriusXM's Julie James. Hey guys, how are you holding up? And I don't want people to be crying for us because boo-hoo, we're seeing all these shows, but it can get exhausting, right? How's it been for you, Julie? I know you've been running around a lot.
It's definitely dizzying, but it is, as we say, a champagne problem. But there's there's so many great things to see. I try really hard. It doesn't always map out for me, but I try to put a little separation between them because I find that when I am working all day and then going to a show every night, my brain gets so busy and crowded that it's almost like the show that I'm seeing tonight, the show from 2 nights ago is long gone in my brain. So I try to do a little bit of spacing out on the calendar, but at a certain point, you just have to, just get on the raft and ride down the river.
Yeah, it gets to be a blur, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Richard, how's it been for you?
Well, I'm a little opposite because I also nominated for some of the award shows. So I have to go. I work during the day, I work at night, and I see matinees, and I see shows. So it's a little crazy, but like Julie said, we love what we do. It's this time of year. We all know this, the March and April madness. And it's so exciting because there's so many brilliant things to see.
My dog's very excited about this season as well, as you can tell. And Remy, come here. Oh, he's gonna go. He's running outside. He'll be fine. I'm sorry about that. So let's hear what have been your favorites so far. And actually, I know we're talking about the last the last 6 weeks, but there have been some really big, wonderful productions. And my favorite so far has been Ragtime. How about you guys?
Well, like Julie had said in the beginning, Ragtime is going to be such a big contender. This is such a beautiful new revival and a new production. It is stunning in every aspect. And boy, it's so timely now with everything we're going through. We all fell in love with Ragtime the first time around, but this production is just off the map. And the performances, I don't know, they should just nominate everybody, right, Julie? Everybody is absolutely flawless. And where are they going to put everybody? I have no idea, but it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, the last time Ragtime opened, remember it was going up against Lion King, and it that was quite a contest. Either one could have won. It was just such a tough draw. What about you, Julie? What's been your favorite?
Gosh, that's almost like choosing your children, right? Like yeah. I find things within even a show that may not have gone the distance. I can find the nooks and crannies in there to admire everyone's incredible work. I did just have the opportunity to go back to Ragtime this past weekend. I had friends in town and they delighted me with another visit, and it's in such tremendous shape. You were mentioning the Tony race from 1998. One of the Tonys that Ragtime did win was for its orchestrations, which are being repurposed in this revival. When do you get the 28-piece rich orchestra for that kind of Ahrens and Flaherty score and all of those voices singing at top tier? And to Richard's point, the timeliness of, it went from election time at City Center, which I know is resonating with so many of the cast and crew members, to only increasing in its relevance and in its timeliness, and in holding up, mirrors and lenses to ourselves. So, that is just top form. But I also just worked with the cast of Chess in the SiriusXM studios. And as, someone who has known that score backwards and forwards since my days at conservatory, it's really, it's so bolstering that Chess is on Broadway and is enjoying a hit run after being a notorious flop that people have been dying to fix time after time after time. And Danny Strong's book, which was inspired completely by the music and not by any prior incarnation. He didn't read any other versions or, study it from the past. He just listened to the music and came up with this new concept of a book with a narrator, So anyway, I know I'm going on and on, but there's a lot to love, especially in the musicals on Broadway, which is like my main jam.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Danny Strong's book. That's what unlocked this new production of Chess, because I had fond memories of seeing the original at the Imperial and to watch those people work. I mean, the Judy Kuhns, the David Carrolls, all those incredible people. But the book was always seemed to be the problem for me with Chess, and I think Danny Strong has totally unlocked this. And like you said, Julie, talk about a cast in this show, everybody in this show. And going back to what you said about Ragtime, no one does it better than Lincoln Center. I mean, that a massive Beaumont stage with that orchestra, the size it is, and that show starts when the whole cast comes running at you and they have the audience in the palm of their hand. It's going to be a really tough season. I mean, when these awards come down, I mean, it's going to be crazy because you could nominate everybody from all these shows, and where they're going to put everybody, I have no idea.
Yeah, and Ragtime is scheduled to close there at the Beaumont in June. Do you guys anticipate that it'll transfer?
There's actually brand new news as of yesterday. It's actually was extended into July. Now it's extended a second time into August.
Oh, wow.
So there's more time for people to get there. And I think that is just the best news, right?
Yeah, that was the best news. That when this came out, I was like, thank you. Ragtime is staying at Lincoln Center.
Yeah, I know. It's a perfect venue. I was going to ask if you guys are surprised, for better or worse, by any of the new shows that are popping up. And already you mentioned you're really pleasantly surprised by the reworking of the Chess book. Anything else that surprised you in this latest season?
Well, there's so much still to come in, right, Julie? There's so much stuff that we haven't even seen yet. I mean, I'm seeing so much stuff next week, the week after that. I mean, there's so many more shows to open.
Yeah.
That's true.
April is going to be dizzying, but I would say that you could call it a surprise because it's a season that's a little lighter on musicals. I've been calling it the COVID catch up because we had these 13 musicals last season, the season before, because there were all of these musicals that needed to come in that had been held up over COVID. Now we've done a little balancing act where, there's not as many waiting in the wings to come in. So this year turns out to be not quite as prolific for new musicals,
right?
Which created an opportunity that I would call a little bit of a surprise. It has a lot of people talking. Titanic coming to Broadway specifically to sort of pony into the Tony season is an interesting and, for some people, surprising choice, simply because it ran in the New York area for, about 3 years. So you could argue that, in terms of the local audience, most people that wanted to see it have seen it, and it is hilarious and clever and so much fun that you can sort of trace a little through line through our musicals this season. Most of them are lighthearted and pithy and fun, because maybe that's a response to the world that we're living in right now, what people are looking for from their entertainment. But a lot of people are still excited to see what Titanic does at the St. James Theater on a large stage on Broadway. I heard they're increasing their orchestra, I think maybe 19 players in there. And so a lot of people, even though they've seen it before, are eager to go back. So I would call that a little bit of a surprise, just for what was such a small, tiny in the basement of Gristides charmer of a show is now going to the big leagues.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk about what they've done with that show. Like you said, it was a small little musical that everybody fell in love with. And all of a sudden they've just turned the volume up to like 1 million and just changed the cast and just, blew it up for Broadway, which I think is so great because everyone's talking about, I want to see Titanic. It's going to be a big contender. It's going to be quite interesting what happens with that. But there are so many people who are looking, very excited to come and see that at the St. James.
Yeah, it's that parody powered by the music of Celine Dion. I didn't realize that it's been kicking around for something like, or swimming around, right, for something like 8 years. And it has become a cult classic. So that's one to watch. As you mentioned, Julie, it is a surprise to me that the majority of productions this season are plays, not musicals. And I was doing a little bit of the math, but there are 6 new plays, 4 play revivals, 4 new musicals, and just 2 musical revivals. That's in these last 6 weeks. That was a surprise. So why don't we kind of take each one and look down the line based on the categories. And so let's start with the new musicals. All right, we mentioned Titanic. I haven't seen it. I'm really excited. I'm a newbie to that particular show. Schmigadoon. It was the Apple TV series a couple of years ago, and it just really broke out and went mainstream. It wasn't a cult TV show. Now it's a big Broadway show. What do you anticipate with that one? And I think, Julie, you mentioned that you're really excited about seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, again, in a season where it's not a complete traffic jam of musicals, then we're going to set our sights on this. I think it's maybe a cousin to Titanic. You have a sort of another parody type property. Again, I think that this light comedy stuff is, we can draw our conclusions about why those things are landing on Broadway at this particular time. I think audiences are really looking for escapism, but they still want quality. And I think that Schmigadoon, has the potential for that. I enjoyed it when it was on Apple TV because it is a send up of all the golden age musicals. And the writing was done in such a hilarious way where, if you love those musicals, if you can name them, if you can catch the references, this is your show. And it's just really fun to see the how they sort of send up all of those old golden era musicals that we know and love and turn it into something that's truly funny. So I'm excited to see what they do with that on stage this time.
Yeah, it's a niche favorite, I would say. Yeah, Richard?
Yeah.
We got to the meet and greet. They presented 5 numbers. It was one of the most joyous rehearsal rooms to be in. This is what we, escapism is what we need right now. I mean, I'm thrilled. The dramas that are in town this year are so exciting, but I still think that people, like Julie said, escapism is what people are looking for. You're taking a family to the theater. People wanted a big splashy musical. Titanic, Schmigadoon. I mean, you want those big, beautiful musicals. And like I said, the Easter eggs in Schmigadoon for anybody who's ever listened to a cast album. You hear it. The characters are based on people we all love. And he did such a beautiful job putting this show together. I mean, it's going to be joyous.
Yeah. Anna Gasteyer, right? And Harada. I've always loved these.
Oh, they're all in this show.
Yeah.
Alex Brightman, everybody. I mean, it's the best of the best working on Broadway right now in the musical theater genre. And they're having the time of their life. They say it's like going to when you went to like summer theater camp. When you first started out in, working on wanting to be an actor, whatever, no one wants to leave the rehearsal room. They're having the time of their life.
Yeah. Alex Brightman, Sarah Chase. All right. Beaches. You guys didn't mention Beaches yet. This too is a show that I know has been in development for, at least a decade. What are we anticipating?
I think it's going to be great. They did a meet and greet at so-and-so's. I'm not sure if you were there, Julie, but the point is the score of this show is incredible. It's a beloved movie and everything else. And I mean, the 2 leads in this show, Jessica Voss, just like, you could listen to her sing the phone book. The score is really, really beautiful.
And you mentioned score. It's Mike Stoller who's doing the score, which just amazes me. The man is 93 years old.
Yeah.
And for anybody who doesn't recognize the name, he made his mark with his songwriting partner, Lieber. They were Lieber and Stoller, and they're responsible for so many of the great Elvis Presley hits, Hound Dog and Jailhouse Rock, et cetera, et cetera. So that is thrilling, just to know that he's behind the score this time around. But I should also mention that, and this was a big deal to me, are they going to keep that iconic number that broke everybody's hearts when we saw the movie, Wind Beneath My Wings? And yes, they are keeping the number. So that's good news all around.
I just love that show had a production, and all of a sudden they here we are, we're going into the Majestic. I love when Julie, when these musicals say they just commit at the last minute.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of the season, I think, Julie, it was going to be 2 musicals, right? It was going to be Strangers Carry a Cake and The Lost Boys were sort of the only new musicals listed. And now we have a few more that are sort of sneaking in, right?
Yeah, Queen of Versailles.
Yeah.
You had, again, what I think we all know was a lighter season. And then, as theaters are sitting there open, that creates opportunity for producers to say, Carpe diem, this is our moment. Let's get this in there. So it's always interesting to see the jockeying and the time frames that different musicals, there are musicals that were thought to come in this season that are gonna wait their turn and come in next season, because everyone's, playing a little bit of political poker with what they think they can pull off. So Beaches definitely has been kicking around for a long time. If you loved the music that was in Smokey Joe's Cafe back in the day, that was a Lieber and Stoller review musical. So all of those hits, but Mike Stoller worked with Iris Raynor Dart, who is the original screenwriter on Beaches, on a roundabout theater musical from some years back called The People in the Picture. And I just want to say the Smokey Joe's material or the Elvis material that you might, think of when you think of Lieber and Stoller was nowhere to be found. I found him a quite poignant, thoughtful, tuneful, not of the same ilk of all those hit songs. So he really proved that he could write for the theater, and so I'm expecting that more from that side of things, from the score of Beaches. Yeah. No, I was just going to say, I will also make you laugh that I recently had Mark Shaman in the studio talking about his fabulous new memoir. And we joked around that and is it that all of the movies that Mark Shaman works on, he doesn't end up working on the musical? Sister Act and now Beaches, were both really big films for Mark Shaman, and it doesn't end up going his way when it comes time to adapt these musicals for Broadway. Make of that as you will.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to Beaches.
Because Mike Stoller told me, he said they'd worked with Iris. He'd worked on The People in the Picture, which was a Holocaust musical, very heavy, with Donna Murphy at Roundabout. And right after that show closed, she had asked him, would he work on Beaches? And he said, at this point, I cannot go from one heavy drama into sort of something else. But he told me just a few weeks ago, he's having the time of his life writing this musical. And like I said, like Julie said, it's so different than the music you're thinking of, from the other things that he's written. The songs are so beautiful and so poignant and so catchy, and the ballads are great. But he's having the time of his life working on this, and he's so glad he finally said yes, because she kept begging him year after year, and he finally said, yeah, let's just do this.
All right, guys, let's keep moving here. You are founts of information, but we want to get to the other categories. Although, last and certainly not least, the final show opening in this Broadway season is The Lost Boys, and there's great anticipation and excitement about that. And I don't know really anything about it, except I know it's based on the film from, I think it was 1987. But I did hear a number from the show that was posted online, and it was just beautiful. Tell us about it, guys.
It's thrilling. We were in the rehearsal room, but now I have friends that have been teching at the theater. They fly. I mean, the whole look of this show is going to be mind-blowing of what they've done with this. The score is really great. Another incredible cast, and the three producers behind this all went to school together. So, I mean, they've been dreaming of putting this show together for a long time on Broadway. But I hear, besides the incredible score and the book and the performances, the special effects of these vampire boys flying is gonna be spectacular at the Palace.
Yeah, yeah, very. I really am looking forward to that. And
Yeah.
wow, what a way to end the season. Let's move on quickly. The musical revivals. This I can't believe Cats is back, but in a very different form. It's Cats, the Jellicle Ball, and the Rocky Horror Show among the two musical revivals that are opening in this last batch. Have you guys seen them yet?
Julie, you went downtown to see Cats, right? The Jellicle Ball?
Yeah, but I have yet to make my visit on Broadway, so I'm excited to see how they transform the Broadhurst Theater, which will be a little different setup than it was down at the Pack. So, and I really have to say, this is the only way I really need to see Cats. I don't know. I don't really need a literal, production. I kind of feel the same way about Sunset Boulevard. It's like, I don't ever need the grand staircase and the turban again. It's like, it's been taken to it's been taken to another level and did something really interesting with it. And I feel similarly about Cats, and it ends up making a beautiful statement. So I'm really anxious to see what that's going to do on Broadway this spring.
Oh, totally agreed. I mean, what they did down at Pack, I mean, like Julie said, I need to see this production only from now on. It's so beautifully crafted, so clever of what they've done. And they've got a bigger runway now, Julie, supposedly, opposed to the smaller ones. They've really reconfigured the Broadhurst from the photos we're seeing. So we're all very excited about that.
Yeah. And now Rocky Horror Show, I can't believe they're bringing that back. But again, you're right. The emphasis or the accent is on escapism, funny stuff. And I guess that is the vibe that we're all feeling these, very difficult days in the world. So I'm looking forward to that. And who's in there? Juliette.
It's a really interesting cast, but for me, Rocky Horror Show is about Sam Pinkleton, the director. I'm eager to see what, fresh off of his Tony win for Oh Mary last season, for him to come back with a musical that's so well known and beloved. I'm interested to see what Sam Pinkleton is doing with Rocky Horror. That's what's in it for me.
And Luke Evans said he cannot wait to put those Frankenfurter heels on and everything else. But the cast in rehearsal is just having the time of their life. And like Julie said, it's all about Sam's vision and everything else. And the cast he has put together is of every different element of actors. It's really going to be spectacular.
All right, let's move on to the new plays, because there are a bunch of them. Every Brilliant Thing, Giant, Dog Day Afternoon, Becky Shaw, The Fear of 13, and the Ballisters. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now, Every Brilliant Thing opened March 12th, and so I think we all saw it, and I was just dazzled by it. I thought it was such a wonderfully original and engaging and heartwarming piece of work, and very special mention to Daniel Radcliffe, who just nailed it. He was wonderful. That was a big surprise to me. I didn't expect it to be that thrilling.
It's so interesting to watch everybody in that house, because Daniel starts at half hour wandering through the house, up to the balcony, up to the mezzanine, to give people little Post-its to talk about during the show. It's one of the best feel-good things I've seen this season. I think Daniel is just exquisite in this. Yeah. And to watch the audience and to watch the people play like Mrs. Patterson and play his dad, if you go back, it's so great. It's such a feel-good thing. It's the subject matter is a little heavy, but it's done in a beautiful light and so beautiful way, and everybody walks out of that theater feeling so much better.
It's
right, right?
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. It's so heart-filling, soul-stirring, meaningful. If you need to feel a little better about life, go to that show. And
and a big portion of the audience gets to be in it. I mean, as you mentioned, Richard, including yours truly,
I was there the night you were there.
Oh, that's right, Richard. Yeah. Well, this is, I've never been so boldly insulted to my face, and yet I loved it because Daniel ran up to me and my hubby sitting there, and we were on the aisle, and he said, he kneels down and he says to us, rather quietly, I would like you to play my old couple. And I was like, your old couple? I was like, yeah, sure. You were asking Daniel, we'll be your old couple. Yep. Anyway, it was a blast. We just really enjoyed it.
Everybody leaves with a smile. They have the best time leaving that show, and to see him live.
Yeah. And your chance to be in a Broadway show is always, a little perk. All right.
That's your resume, Rome. You can add that to your resume now.
Yeah. I started out as an actress. I've never acted so much since I left. Anyway, Giant. Let's talk about Giant. John Lithgow. This was the play that won the Olivier Award. And there's just great anticipation for it. I don't know if it's going to do as well on this side of the pond, but it does have a stellar crew behind it. Have you seen it? I know you were on the red carpet, Richard. Did you have you seen it yet?
I've seen it. I think he is giving. This is going to be the hardest category, best male in a play this year. He is incredible in this show. Everybody is, but John Lithgow is giving one of those like career-defining performances. It's like the Hamlet, King Lear. He is just bombastic and brilliant, and it's selling incredibly. And the reviews last night were really terrific. So if you want to see some really great acting of one of our greatest, I think this is his 25th. Or he was saying last night, it could be his 26th Broadway show. He is so thrilled to be back, but he is a giant in this playing Roald Dahl. Finally now with everything, it's, what he did at that time period, another a wonderful piece that's so timely, but brilliant performance.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He's 80 years old?
Yes.
And he's in his prime. Isn't that just incredible? Isn't that incredible? It blows me away. By the way, just talk about ages. I guess theater does keep you young because there's June Squibb and Marjorie Prime, and this woman is. I have to throw it in there because even though it opened earlier, she just blew me away. She's in that show almost the entire time. All those lines to be memorized, and she's 96 years old. 96 years old. God bless her. So between her and Mike Stoller at 93 and 80-year-old John Lithgow, I'm really impressed. I guess the message is stay in the theater. You'll live long. All right, Dog Day Afternoon. This one I'm extremely excited about because who doesn't love the film? And it's got John Bernthal and Eben Moss-Backrack, right? From The Bear? Yeah. Julie, have you seen it? Actually, I know, Richard, you're most excited about seeing that one, aren't you?
But Julie, have you gone yet?
I haven't. No, I'm going soon.
Saturday. They are. I met them at the meet and greet. These two guys together, I mean, look at them. They are having Broadway debuts. They're having the time of their life working on this. And Stephen was there that day, and Rupert Gould, the director. The set is mind-blowing. The bank turns, and they've extended the whole people in the bank you get to know now. But I mean, this is the one I'm really excited about seeing because this movie, I love this movie, and this is going to be gritty. It's Stephen Girgis. I mean, it's going to be really sensational, and just to see, these people are introducing a whole new audience to the theater. You look at them at, the celebrity they have. I mean, Julie, you remember when I was a kid, we went to see a TV star or a movie star, and we're like, oh my gosh, they do this live. When you're first introduced to the theater. But these guys are having the time of their life, and it's that gritty New York story, and I can't wait.
Yeah, and Stephen Adly Girgis, I love his writing. I can't get enough of him, and it's very raw and very profane, but in the most entertaining fashion. So I'm most excited about that.
And he's added a lot of his company, his repertory company that have done his shows years and years and years are all making their Broadway debuts in this.
Yeah. All right. Becky Shaw. And of course, what caught my eye as a big fan of The Pit, having been raised in Pittsburgh, is Patrick Ball, who plays Dr. Langdon in the Pit. I don't know what to make of it. I know nothing about this particular show, but it's very intriguing. And if I had to blindly pick a show to see, I would go on the strength of Patrick Ball, who has made such a great mark in the pit. Are you guys familiar with it at all, Julie?
I'm actually not. I've been brushing up on it, for shows like this, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I didn't see it before, so I am looking forward to being introduced. And you make a great point about, we have several stars from The Bear, The Pit. There are these, to Richie's earlier point, people are drawn to the theater to see some of these favorites live and on stage without a net, as I like to say. And we also have quite a number of this year and examples of actors that we know more from musicals who are dabbling over in the plays. We have quite a number of those, like Kelly O'Hara's doing a play. Who do we have in Becky Shaw? Lauren
Patton, Linda Eby.
Lauren Patton.
Mm-hmm.
And Linda Eby. Right. So that's always kind of, I love getting to see the people that I got to know doing musicals spreading those wings wide open and flying into another genre.
Yeah, Madeline Brewer from Orange is the New Black.
And Alden too. Alden, all these people that are making their debuts. Becky Shaw was a great show off Broadway at Second Stage, and now it's getting its Broadway debut again. Really, really wonderful. Trip Coleman's directing that, but like you said, it's like Kelly O'Hara and Rose Byrne, Fallen Angels. I can't wait to see that. But like you said, see Kelly in a play.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And she's so good no matter what she does. I mean, it's like Audrey McDonald. Yeah. She goes both ways.
Right. And Kelly, I'm calling my trifecta because I work with the Metropolitan Opera at SiriusXM as well. And she's been on stage at the Met Opera a number of times in recent seasons. Of course, she's beloved on Broadway and in concerts. And now she's doing a play on Broadway. So she's infiltrating all of my worlds, and I love it.
This is one of the most unknown Noel Coward plays, because these women are scandalous and everything else, and Kelly and Rose Byrne are having the time of their life. It's directed by Scott Ellis, another stellar cast or whatever, but I think this is going to be huge.
Yeah. And another TV favorite making their Broadway debut, Mark Consuelos.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking very lovingly about that cast. So, yes, he was in the studio telling me about it recently.
Oh yeah, he's so excited because you had him in the studio. I had him in the rehearsal room. He's like, it's blowing my mind. He's like, I can't believe this. I'm in with Scott Ellis and Kelly O'Hara and Rose Byrne and all these people doing a drawing room comedy.
All right.
Well, and Mark's son is in Death of a Salesman, making his Broadway debut. So his son and father are making Broadway debuts side by side in the same season. How cool is that?
You need Kelly Ripa then to jump in.
That's what I told Mark. I said, all you need is Kelly to do something next, and you'll all be on stage.
Listen, you guys jumped the line. Let's finish with the original plays. The Fear of 13, Adrian Brody and Tessa Thompson making their Broadway debuts. I realized, this should be really interesting. It's a true story about a death row inmate who was innocent but spent more than 2 decades in prison. This one I'm very excited about because I love heavy drama, and Adrian Brody he won the Olivier, didn't he, for this performance? I can't quite remember, but anyway, it's deserving of an Olivier even if he didn't win it. So that's going to be fun. And then The Ballisters, this one is David Lindsay Abaire, right? Who wrote Kimberly Akimbo, and has that kind of quirky humor. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Again, this is a big comedy. Going back to Fear of 13, they cannot wait. These are the kind of heavy pieces I love because it's so timely right now with what we're going through. And then you see someone like Adrian and Tessa making their Broadway debuts. And Linda Ferrantino wrote the script of this. I mean, it's a true story, so this is going to be great. He cannot wait to make his debut.
Yeah. No, I'm over the moon with these, heavy dramas. That's kind of my my thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Among the play revivals, wow, talk about some heavy hitters here. Death of a Salesman with Nathan Lane and Laurie Metcalf, and Joe Mantello directing. This is going to be seismic. I have to expect.
I can't wait to get into the Winter Garden Theater to see this. I hear all these incredible things that all my friends have gone and say it's mind blowing of what Joe Mantello has rethought Death of a Salesman, and this cast, including the boys who play Happy and Biff. I mean, Mr. Abbott and Ben Arrows. I mean, they're all supposed to be wonderful in this. That's all been shifted to another time period, right, Julie? It takes place, I think, in the 60s now, if I'm right.
Yeah, and you can really expect. I mean, this is truly about the American dream, and we keep going back to the timeliness. You know, if you think about the 1960s, the promise of America, and then if you think of the promise of America in 2026, that's in the headlines every day. I jokingly have been calling Death of a Salesman the gypsy of plays because it does tend to get revived a lot, but I think that's simply because of its resonance, and to see it under the helm of Joe Mantello, but with the giants of Nathan Lane and Laurie Metcalf, it's sure to be Winter Garden box office gold.
And you know what I had heard was that Joe Mantello had some exclusive access to Arthur Miller's writings and intentions for the play. So we're going to get a whole new dimension, I think, even without changing the setting. I think we're going to understand the play even more so, which is hard to believe because I think it's a perfect play.
Well, that's the great thing about the American classics, like with Shakespeare. I mean, you can have someone like Joe Mantello go back and look at the Arthur Miller papers and see it through a new lens, like Julie said, of 2026. This is the play about the American dream. It happened for some people, it didn't. Yeah. You know, this is a powerful cast, like you said, to watch Nathan and Laurie and the two boys turn this thing around. It's going to be great.
All right. Proof. Proof is back. And, you know, I didn't realize, I'm looking at my notes here. I think it opened 25, 26 years ago. I feel like I saw it only a couple of years ago, but look at this cast with Don Cheadle and, speaking of the bear, Ayo Edebiri, right?
Yep.
This should be fun. And last I heard, the Obamas are producing this, or putting their names in and putting their money where their mouths are.
Which I think is so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this production too. Again, this is like, and Tommy Kail is directing this, and David Orburn said it was like starting a whole new play, watching a whole new cast. I mean, this is not just a revival. I love David Orburn said, I'd love to go into the room with a whole new cast, and we dissect it from the very beginning like it's a new play.
Yeah, and it won the Pulitzer Prize.
The Pulitzer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 2 decades ago. All right, that's exciting. All right, let's keep on going here. Fallen Angels. We mentioned it. Yes, I really am thrilled to see Rose Byrne and Kelly O'Hara together on stage. I know we talked about it, but this should be Asif Manvi, who makes me laugh just with his presence on stage. So that should be fun. And then finally, Joe Turner's Come and Gone. Debbie Allen directing. She's putting it again through a different lens, and it's that August Wilson classic. I didn't realize this is its third outing on Broadway. It's a very popular play, and why not? It's just the writing is just beautiful. What can you guys give us on Joe Turner? Who
everybody is loving working with Debbie Allen. They're just having the time of their life working with her. They say the room, she prods and she's like, I want you to be the very best. But then she pulls back. It's that dancer thing. You know, the cast was telling me that she's like, you can go further, trust yourself. Taraji, all these people are just, because she has the biggest history with the Allen sisters, because they had a scholarship that she won when she was young. And so Debbie and the Allen sisters have been with her career forever. And she cannot wait to make her Broadway debut in this.
That Taraji P. Henson, right?
Yeah.
Making her Broadway debut. And Cedric,
as well as Cedric the Entertainer, another Broadway debut. So we have all of these plays, with a lot of individual actors showing up for a Broadway debut this season. It's pretty marvelous. I wouldn't call it unprecedented because I haven't done that math, but it's just a lot of very famous actors all making Broadway debuts in the same season. It's bound to be extra exciting there.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I'm just looking at the three other play revivals that opened earlier in the season. Also, they're going to give everyone a run for the money. The three guys in art, and every one of them, could be a contender. And Oedipus, Mark Strong, who I'm in love with that actor. I think he's so wonderful. Also making his Broadway debut, so that should be great. And Leslie Manville, of course. When she won the Olivier for Oedipus in London. So we'll see. I mean, there's
Waiting for Godot. Remember that?
Oh, Keanu Reeves. Yeah.
There's been so much happening that all feels like ancient history, but it was only a couple of months ago.
Well, it explains also why all these shows wait till the last minute to open, because they want to be fresh in the voters' minds.
These seasons start and you don't know, say, oh my gosh, you just think it's the fall. Then all of a sudden you have this whole spring comes out of nowhere. But, we talked earlier, Romer, it all has to do with theater availability too. It's like, and like Julie said, some like Beaches was just ready to come in. I mean, these are big shows to bring in, to hang your marquee out there and sell tickets and everything else. But it's quite interesting that theaters become available and all of a sudden these musicals come in and these plays come in. It's an exciting season. Like I said, I don't know how anyone's going to nominate this season because everybody's a contender.
We advertise it. So very quickly, a couple of off-Broadway shows that you're most excited about. Julie?
There's this little known show that I have only been familiar with because of Sirius XM and the channel that I curate, The Adding Machine.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a musical that nobody has heard of, and they're going to take a swing at that one. So I'm just curious. I think it's going to get the downtown treatment. So it's almost like a Metropolis concept, if you think about it. And with AI being in the news every day, I think a little modern questioning of technology, which at the time of this musical was The Adding Machine, taking over. is there's probably some fun parallels to be drawn there. So I'm looking forward to that one. And Sean Hayes. I want to see Sean Hayes.
Oh, he's so great. But it's The Adding Machine, based on that play from the 1920s, right?
Right.
All right. And Richard, how about you? And any particular off-Broadway show you want to?
The same thing. The Reservoir, which is down at the Atlantic. I mean, talk about an incredible cast that's doing this. I mean, it's one of the best plays I've seen this season, and the actors that are in this show are really, really fabulous. I mean, there's a lot of good off-Broadway stuff. There always is, but off-Broadway seems to have gotten a very big resurgence over the past few years of finding their way back. So, there's so much coming in. Data, I thought was fabulous down at the Lucille Lortel, like going on Julie's The Adding Machine. Again, it's like with AI and everything else and working on these secret projects. I love that.
Yeah, it is almost shameful that there's some great work off Broadway, but they have these finite performance schedules. So hopefully some of them will be returned and maybe make it up to Broadway would be wonderful news. You guys have just been amazing. We could go on for hours, honestly, but alas, the time has come. I have to bid you all adieu. Richard, Julie, I can't thank you enough for your contributions. You have been wonderful on this edition of Broadway Unscripted. All right. Our next live taping time will be posted on our website, fifthrowcenter.com. And also be sure, everybody, to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Fifth Row Center, and you will get notified. Coming up next, my review of Dog Day Afternoon, and a little bit later in our Broadway Spotlight segment, the honor of dimming the marquee, how that tradition works, who makes the call, and how it has evolved. Until then, everybody, thanks.
Thanks, Roma.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure.